Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. And today we are coming again with our weekly tips, and it's our love launch tips. And today we are going to be talking about green eyed beast, which stands for jealousy. And I'm here, Irina Portnova, with my co-host and partner in business, Bruno Jill. Bruno. Okay, what's your take on jealousy?
Hi there, everybody. First and foremost, happy Tuesday to everybody. Hope you're having a lovely day and beautiful start of the week. Um, for me, my take on jealousy is that there's no point. Like you know that there's no problem when you know what you're worth, because even if something happens, right, there's no problem because you know what you're worth. Right. The point here is knowing what you're worth, knowing what you are able to give to the table. And when you don't know that, because you are insecure towards your insecurities, let's say, right, you end up showing the vulnerabilities that you don't want to show because you believe that being vulnerable is bad when it's not. Vulnerability becomes toxic when it's not communicated, because you're also insecure about communicating your vulnerabilities, right? So if you take a look at it, like, everything connects, right? And it's normal to be insecure towards something. What's not normal is not saying it because you feel weak and whatever. Like, not saying it is weak. Like, not facing it, that's the real weakness. Right? The real weakness is not facing it. The real weakness is not opening about it. That's the weakness, right? It's almost like the easy path is to avoid it. The hard path is to confront it, right? And in this case, confronting it means talking about it, and people don't want to do that. So their jealousy grows more and more and more, and I think majority of people they make an enemy. Their biggest enemy is themselves, but they make it all about the other person. Like, the other person should know. Can't the other person see? But the other person doesn't see and doesn't know if you don't say it, because the other person is we're not playing guess who, right? It's not like hide and seek, like I close my eyes and then you run, right? And I go in, I try to find the answer, and I try to find you, right? This is, like, this is not a game. This is, I have a problem, I talk. You have a problem, you talk. And yeah, for now, this is all I can say. What about you, Arina?
You know what? I'm listening to your conversation, and I know, like, sometimes watching these social media reels, when the girls, like, making the scenes, like you say, some people don't talk about it, but some people show it too much. It becomes too obvious. And especially, I think, I don't know, like, you talk from men's side, I'll talk about the women. I know that a lot of jealousy comes from women as well. And for me, it looks childish because, again, as you touched upon, if you are secure in who you are and you know who you are and you trust your partner, then it's just like, even if your partner talks to somebody else, like to another girl, it shouldn't intimidate. It shouldn't be intimidating because you know who you are and you know who your partner is, right? And there should be that kind of balance and trust in each other, because otherwise, why are you together at all?
Sorry, my bad. Absolutely. And I think that again, for example, you don't, there's no point in feeling insecure. Like, for example, let's put it on another perspective, right? What's the point of feeling like, oh, I'm going to lose, when you know deep down in your heart that you're going to win, right? like there's this quote from a movie called The Hangover, like a hilarious movie. So like these guys, they go to Las Vegas and stuff. I think it's Vegas. I think that's the first one actually. And they talk about like the one of the guys, he knows that he's learning how to count cards, and he knows how to count cards. And they're like, oh, you're gonna gamble, whatever. And he says like, it's not gambling when you know you're gonna win, right? And obviously that was a joke and stuff, and he did win anyways. But anyways, the point is that like, there's no point in feeling any sort of insecurity or jealousy or whatever, when you know what you bring to the table, and you know that even if something happens, right? Because that's the whole point of it, like knowing what you bring to the table, knowing your worth, knowing your value, doesn't like exclude you from the fact that you still can get cheated on, you still can get left, right? You still can do whatever. But that's the point. You know your value, you know your worth. Who cares if you get cheated on? Who cares if something happens, right? Because you're worth more than any other thing possible, right? And if she did cheat on you, then guess what, my friend? She did you a favor. She revealed her true colors. That means that she wasn't for you. Somebody else is better for you. Doesn't matter how long it will take you to know the person. Maybe a week, a month, a year. I don't know how many years. Doesn't matter, right? But there's a person out there that will never cheat on you, ever. So if the person cheated on you, there's no point in feeling bad. The person did you a favor. The person did you a damn favor, man. Right? So there's no right? So see, this is what I've come to the conclusion. Like, when people really want to do something, they will do it, whether you know it, whether you don't know it, whether you see it, whether you see it. When people want to, you think like, okay, for everybody here that has a girlfriend or a wife, if your wife or your girlfriend really wanted to cheat on you, first of all, they wouldn't tell you. That's number one. And second, just because you don't know, you think they wouldn't do it? Of course they would. And you as well, my friend, you as well. If you wanted to cheat on your wife or on your girlfriend, you would do it without her knowing. Because you wouldn't tell her, so she would eventually find out. But that's what I'm saying, right? Just because you don't see it or you don't know, it does not mean it's not happening. Now, what I'm saying here as well is that if it does happen, there's no point in feeling jealousy or insecurities, because what happened. But if it doesn't happen and you don't know about it, what's the point of feeling jealousy and insecure about it as well? Just live your life, right? And let her live her life. And if you let her live her life, it happens quite the opposite. She knows like, oh, he trusts me. I could never do that to him because he trusts me. But if you suddenly stop letting her doing whatever she wants because you don't trust her, then she'll stop loving you, and it will happen exactly what you don't want to happen because you're not trusting her, and she doesn't want to be with somebody that doesn't trust her. Right? And I think Irina's nodding her head. And I think
I agree with you. And the other good point is that it's like jealousy, it's like something we all can work on, right? It's not something that like, okay, it's in us and we cannot truly work on it. And obviously, like you mentioned, when you are secure in yourself, you just exude that energy. Because if the person constantly is afraid that their partner is gonna be looking at and when I talk about jealousy, I'm not talking about cheating necessarily, but just like even when you are in the places, somewhere in the public places, and then you see your partner talks to somebody on the opposite, of the opposite sex. So a lot of people get like really agitated with that. Like to me, it's not an issue because we are all human beings. We all want to communicate. We all want to have our, like freedom, right? But the point is that the energy that we are producing, if we are coming from that energy of, oh my God, I'm so scared. He's going to be talking to somebody and look at these beautiful girls. And you start comparing yourself. This is like the worst thing you could ever do. Like never compare yourself to anybody because you are unique. There is nobody better than you. You are with that partner because he chose you. And if for any reason something it didn't work out, well, guess what? It's all for your highest good. So always feel, safe and secure in your own skin, and always remember that our thoughts actually bring out the reality that we are living in. So if we are constantly in the stress and worry that he's gonna be looking at other girls, he's not gonna pay attention at me, and etc. Guess what? We are gonna gradually bring this. It's gonna manifest in our life, because what thoughts we carry, what we are thinking about, what we give our energy to, actually tends to show up in the physical realm. What do you
Absolutely. No, absolutely, absolutely, and I agree. But the reason why I said about cheating is because if this is my personal opinion, I think that people wouldn't be jealous of anything if they weren't immediately thinking about what the final outcome could be, which is cheating, right? So that's why people get jealous, right? People do get jealous, not just because they're talking to the girl. They get jealous because of what can happen after they talk to the girl, and what can unroll with that, right? When in reality it's just an interaction. It can be just an interaction, right? It can be just an exchange of words, right? But that's the thing. I think is like men and women do that, right? Men and women do that. Men and women, right? And I believe that it's just so important that people actually know their own uniqueness, right? Because and I tell you this from my perspective, but the reality is that I love myself so much. I couldn't care that much if somebody just simply if a person left me, right? If a person left me or whatever, I couldn't care that much to just simply go into a depression, like I'm 15 or 16 years old, right? And obviously one thing is maybe if my wife died or my girlfriend died or whatever, I mean, yeah, that's different. The one thing is the person dying, and another thing is the person cheating, right? Maybe if the wife died or maybe if the girlfriend died, maybe I would be a little bit more but when it comes to cheating and stuff, it's like, my friend, we passed extremely amazing moments together, right? But if you don't like me anymore, then you don't like me anymore, right? And the thing with cheating and jealousy and everything, right, is more like you could have just told me in my face that you didn't want me anymore, right? And I think for me as a man, this is the thing, is I don't mind I'm with somebody, and I wouldn't mind if something happened in terms of the person doesn't like me anymore. Okay, the person tells me in my eyes, and the person then starts dating the person that she likes. Fine, no problem. I mean, if it wasn't, it wasn't. But cheating for me is it's ultimate disrespect, because I then come to the conclusion that I'm like, wow, all this time I was dating a pussy. All this time I was dating a person who is not courageous to who doesn't respect me, right? Because when you cheat on somebody, you don't respect that person, right? If you have absolutely no respect for the person and no respect for yourself, then you cheat, because it's easier to do that, right? And this is in the majority of cases. I'm not there's always situations where it's not like that, right? But in the majority of the cases, in the majority of them, not all of them, but in the majority of them, right, what happens with people is that they just end up cheating, and they don't respect their partner, right? And it's almost as a revenge and stuff, but that's cheating anyway, whatever. But obviously when it comes to jealousy, I think that it's really all about not feeling that way, because you have no reason to feel like that. And even if you feel like you do, remember, always talk and always open up with your partner, right? Because you either have a chance of knowing or you never know. So talk with them, open up with them.
I love that advice, and I also wanted to conclude our today episode is by saying that it's all about exploring and talking to your partner, right? When you date or you live together, like have this conversation beforehand, so this way you kind of prepared what is their take on it, what is their view. And obviously it's all about just being who you are and being open, and that's what leads to the best relationships. And jealousy is part of the process, but it's something that would be worked on and brought to another level. So I hope this was helpful. You got some tips, and we would be happy to hear from you in the comments whenever you watch that episode. Until then, have a beautiful, beautiful day, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.